Y'all already know what it is, so we're gonna hop right to it. I want to show you something about what's really going on with 1199 SEIU, and I'm gonna prove to you how they're a complete joke and they don't care about their members. We're gonna start this off with the definition of a contract. So let's get to it. A contract is a legally binding agreement between two or more parties that establishes, defines, and governs mutual rights and obligations. It acts as a promise or a set of promises that, if broken, allows the injured party to seek legal remedy in court of law. Now remember, your 1199 SEIU contract, or the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, is a legally binding document, right? Okay. So what that means is that when one of these managers or directors at the institutions decides to make up their own rules on the fly, that's a violation of the contract in CBA. And that also means that when 1199 SEIU executives are made aware, they have an obligation under the union constitution to make the members whole. So that said, what I'm about to do is I'm going to show you exactly what goes on behind closed doors that, according to the directors of said departments, isn't that right, Nunu, and your triune, they claim was okayed by HR, Austin Bender, Jose LaBraca, Beth Cooper. But yeah, let's hop down this rabbit hole and we're going to take a trip down memory lane.
We're going to drop down and have a quick look. So.
Also, in terms of the 10 to 6 shift, it's a great suggestion. We're looking at all the shifts to make sure that it covers the needs of the expanding department. So just
one moment. A little context here. In our department, there were about 60 therapists, between occupational therapists and physical therapists. And to facilitate and keep operations going, we had 7 rehab attendants. So you had 2 that came in from 7 to 3. 1 came in from 8:30 to 4:30. I came in from 9 to 5. And then someone came in from 10 to 6. And 2 people came in from 12 to 8. The busiest times of the day was from 12 to about 4 o'clock. So after multiple attempts of trying to reconcile the issue I had with management in my department, for whatever reason they wanted to come for me, well, Deborah Newman and Jennifer Gallinaro thought it'd be smart that at the busiest time of the day to remove the 10 to 6 shift and move them to 12 to 8, which would then make me be on the floor by myself every day from 3 to 5 during the busiest time of the day, which then forced me to have to start recording my days, which over the next few days, I'm going to be showing all the clips of people sitting at computers and doing nothing. After we got out of meetings and management said, don't do that, but then the manager in question sits there and talks to them while they treat a patient. Make it make sense. But anyways, let's get back to business.
more to come on that. We'll take a closer look. So thank you for that suggestion. We understand that there are a lot of call-outs and there might be gaps in coverage. So what we're going to be doing is offering overtime for any period of time that there's no rehab attendant. So we'll only offer it for the hours that need the coverage. Okay, so we're not going to bridge a gap.
What does that mean?
Meaning, like, if we need coverage from 6 to 8, and somebody leaves at 5 and wants to do overtime, the overtime would start at 6.
That makes no sense.
That's really the problem. That don't make no sense.
I've never heard of this.
Never heard of that. Everywhere I worked at in the world, I never heard of that.
In a hospital, I've never heard of
Nowhere in the world.
How did y'all come up
We
with
spoke with HR about it. This was
Deborah Newman,
just
director.
where the need is.
Okay.
NYU Rusk, physical occupational therapy.
Seniority, so if L's offered the first opportunity,
But all the other departments do it regularly.
That's what I'm saying. Every other department does it the old school way.
But they saying, but I understand what they saying. They saying by need. I think what you're saying by need.
It's always one.
That doesn't make sense. That means you'll never get nobody to work. That's crazy. That is insane to me. That is so disrespectful. I'm just gonna say it out loud. That is the most disrespectful thing to do.
But why are we the only department that has to do that?
I don't know.
That's odd.
I know
She said the need. That's what it is. Nothing to do with
Based
that.
on need.
Yeah, I hear you.
NYU is crazy.
But I mean, that just applies to our department because the other departments they get a full the shift or whatever they're working. They don't have to clock out and leave and then come back.
That means I would have to leave at 3 and
Can you answer that, Nunu?
What? Who?
I know what's in our contract.
Y'all know that's not me.
Yeah, y'all
You're telling me that the other departments do this?
I think, well, it depends on the department, because every department runs differently.
It's up to the department.
The big difference is mandatory. So some of the departments, like at the main hospital, when they need someone,
you gotta
they
stay.
say it's mandatory. So they'll offer it to the first, but someone has to do it. So if all the senior, going down the line, like I don't want it, I don't want it.
And the
The
last
least senior person has
they
no
gotta do
choice.
it. There's no
They have
choice.
to do it. This, we're not making it mandatory. It's based on need.
You ever notice? It's always the motherfucker in the department that do the least amount of work, got the most amount of shit to say.
So
Since it's not mandatory, it's, as I said, it's based on the need.
So it's the word
for the hours.
Yeah, okay, that's it.
It's different when it's mandatory than.
It's the word.
Yeah, that's it. Working corrections.
I get
Do the same thing.
I have one question. When we were talking about the 10 to 6 shift, when Mia was here, that was the whole reason she created that shift, was to cover that gap. That's specifically why she created that shift, and that's why we got Dave. So, never mind. But it just doesn't make sense that if this position was created for that exact reason, and then now that the position's no longer there and it's causing an issue on the floor, maybe I'm thinking, I don't know.
We're gonna relook at it. I'm gonna need.
Anyone that works in a hospital, especially if you've worked on the administrative end, you know how the Epic system works. So when you look at Epic and you're looking at the list of appointments for the day through the DAR, it has a whole list of different analytics and shit that you click and go through. And you can literally go through and it'll tell you how many appointments you have in the department, what type, who the service providers are, and then you can get a whole breakdown of the day. Well, it will tell you which percentage of your meetings is happening, or your appointments are happening through one time slot. So it will literally tell you by clicking the button when the most heaviest times of in and out traffic. Just by clicking, it gives you the figure. So what do you mean you have to look at it? You knew that before you changed the time slot of the position, because you did it so that I would be on the floor by myself, so that you could make it seem like I wasn't doing my job. Listen, we're gonna go back through all the rehab attendant meetings, because I recorded every one, and we're gonna listen to every time the staff told you that there was a problem on the floor because the 10 to 6 was moved to 12 to 8. Jennifer Gallinaro and John Salvatore and Deborah Newman.
That position.
But we know there's a need. That's the thing,
So
though.
we're gonna talk about it. And I just want to get through this. So
I just want to get through this because you don't care. Dummy.
As we said, we'll keep it as the handroom opening, answering the first shift for now. Just one other thing, we're getting feedback from the medical secretary team that sometimes when the patients are, they say.
Alright, so pay attention to the verbiage and what's actually being said and what's not being heard and by whom.
What phrases? what's her name? Marissa? You need to talk to her boss and tell her she does excellent work. She's the only one who brings patients. She's in today looking for a patient while we're looking for a patient. And she'll come back and tell us. Like, she's really good, but I thought it was their job to come and bring patients back.
They'll bring them to a point.
I know she does that.
We can review with their management for sure, but they still need to be met by someone from our team too, because that's what.
Yeah, so we do. So when we can.
See, last time they told us that they didn't bring back patients, they only brought back VIPs. So which one is it? Is it VIPs or to a point? Because we get a different answer every time.
Okay, so we're gonna clarify again with their.
Yeah, because every other floor, everywhere I go, I need to find this thing.
And then another point is,
sometimes we can't.
Every week, we had a new protocol, but management never knew what the protocol was the next week that they set. I've already showed you, old Johnny boy. Well, I don't actually know what the protocol is for this. The proper workflow new protocol, correct? Per management.
Yes, it's on, yes.
Okay, the only reason I'm asking is because we have had an ongoing workflow that was set up through management. And I brought this up before, and last time, well, let me not preface that, I'm sorry. Let me start over. I have brought it up in the past, so I wanted to touch on it again because I have two instances where I can show where the protocol that has been set up forth by management is not being followed by management, and it's causing a hostile work environment between the rehab attendants. So I brought it up last time when Jenny came and brought up in the meeting that I was calling over the radio, and instead of calling over the radio, I needed to go walk and find the individual, being that their radio was off. So that's fine. So we fast forward, and it was a week later on a Friday, I'm cleaning the hydroculators. So I told them I'd be off the floor. Intake's calling and calling. No one picked up the radio, maybe they didn't hear it. That's fine. So she comes in the back with Tonya and sees me cleaning the hydroculator, to which Tonya says, oh, well, if he's cleaning the hydroculator, that means he's off the floor. It's supposed to follow protocol, but she knew the protocol, which means it goes to the south side. But Jennifer walked through the door of the north side and told Elliot it was his responsibility to answer the radio. But that's not the protocol. So what happens is that when we, as a collective, we talk amongst ourselves, when the management doesn't follow the protocol that one of us has stated, well, no, this is the protocol, and then management doubles down on the negative behavior, then the negative behavior is then reinforced because those individuals think that they're actually correct because management is not following the exact protocol that they've written. That they've written. Who? Well, yeah, I said it in the moment. But
did you have a conversation with her after?
Well, I haven't had a chance, but this is the first meeting, so I'm bringing it up against all so that we can have it all at once.
Right, but so I wasn't there.
No, I understand.
Right, so you know, again, like having that conversation with Jenny might be helpful to get a better understanding. The other thing is too, like I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong too, but you know, maybe you guys can help. I don't know if that's the protocol that if the hand room RA doesn't answer the radio, or if they're busy, it goes to the south side. Is that explicitly said in here, or is it everybody's responsibility to answer the radio?
That's always been the protocol.
I thought it was everybody's responsibility to answer the radio.
No, the protocol was that the hand, because remember we tried to switch, we just had a meeting. Am I tweaking?
No,
Has that not always been the protocol, or am I tweaking?
Yeah.
It's
okay.
Default, right? Like it actually does.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
If north or south in that moment, then the south person is then responsible to let the front desk know
yes.
that.
But that's always been the protocol. That's what y'all set up, John.
That's different. That's when you're looking for a patient. Right?
No, but that's the radio protocol. Period. It's always been like that.
It makes a lot of sense that like if that's.
Why is it every time we do this, they act like they don't know what I'm talking about?
We're just talking it through. We're just kind of talking this through, right?
But
so I just want to make sure that I'm understanding. So, you know, yes, I understand that too. But in this particular protocol here, it's two different scenarios, right? So, you know, yes, maybe we can look at it and say, you know, maybe for both scenarios, it's the same process that the south side picks up the radio if
John, we had this conversation. The reason that we actually went to that protocol, I can go get the emails if you like, was because when I was in a meeting with you, Jenny, and Debbie, and the hydrocolators didn't get done, they tried to say it was my fault, and I said, but I was releasing off the floor. And we had this long back and forth, all of us. And then it was stated 4- whatever, this is the protocol. And that's when that protocol was made. So this is nothing new. This is something that has always been etched in stone per you guys because of what happened with the meeting that we had today when me and Maggie was upstairs with you all. So this goes back 2 years.
Can I just say something that's
yes.
not meant to be argumentative or anything? I think one thing that's missing in this write-up, it does not say if the hand room rehab attendant doesn't answer, it doesn't say in here who the default is. And I think, like, if
in this one, but
that,
before this one, it did state that, which means that the date. No, okay, that's fine. But my question, that was the default protocol, which means when she came through that door and told him to answer the radio instead of going south side, she was still reinforcing the wrong protocol as a manager.
When was this was taken from?
This was taken from a 1024.
Yeah, somebody's referring to like prior to the expansion, yeah, and then this was written out after the expansion with the waiting room where it currently is to try to make sure.
But we agreed on the new protocol when we switched.
And without.
Thank you, Elliot.
Without additional information not being there either, I would say I've done this before. I'm not going to make an excuse for Jenny or explain something because I wasn't there, but I've definitely forgotten something and done it at the old way.
This process, but you're the manager and you wrote it and got the nerve to tell me I'm not doing my job. How can anyone actually do their job if the managers don't even know what the fuck they wrote and what the protocol is? But this is what NYU allows, and 1199 does not do their job in representing the members. So remember, you live in a one-party state. Protect yourself. File charges with the EEOC and the National Labor Board. That's all. Get some act right up out of them.
Leave the hand room. Like, I can't leave the hand room in the morning.
Or even to meet them at the door to say, you know,
Sometimes I can't. Because if I'm in that hand room and it's so busy, I'm with the patient. I do that. Definitely. But a lot of times I can't, depending on who's in the hand room.
Yeah, sometimes we don't know what this concierge is referring.
And things are short too. Everybody got
we're in that T area.
They don't have enough staff either. So at certain times, when y'all all gone, they don't have no staff.
So if they're any over back in second time, then they say that they don't have nobody in the front to bring them back.
And now it's something new. Now the patient requests, oh, I want to hit. So the next, I want to hit. So they started OT.
Patients want heat. They want heat. I want you all to keep in mind that under state law, we're not allowed to apply ice or heat to patients. Yet for some reason, Deborah Newman and her whole staff thought it was okay to have us doing so. And they're going to say, oh, no, we never told you to do that. But we're going to go back and roll the tape. Because remember, y'all wanted to write me up when I brought it to your attention that was the law and you had us breaking it. Matter of fact, I'm going to show how some of your staff relied on us to not just put on game readies, but to start them. And it was so much of a pattern or a consistent habit that patients would get upset when we didn't put the game ready on it and start it for them like they told us, even when the therapist had already left the building. And trust me, I've got the receipts. They coming real soon. Stay tuned.
Oh, Valerie need hit, Erica need hit, Christina need hit. So it's almost 4 people need hit at the moment. So they don't expect it. First of all, sometimes the therapist is it's not the time to come for the therapy. Sometimes it's not there, and then they want to bring everybody, and then started asking and sometimes it's like 5 patients, like they want to hit. So we are already busy here doing things, and then still calling. Christina, so what happened with Christina? Sometimes it's because the concierge asking, oh, do you need hit? Do you need hit? Do you need hit? So already they send the 5 people. So then I said, you not visualize, because between you and south side, hand rooms, and north side, we had a wall, like it's a new wall, and they like, we don't know what's going on here, we don't know here, we don't know here. But then as soon, and I don't know doing anything in the hand room, so then when I started calling, and this was the miscommunication, so we are here. Like this morning, I had...
Yo, so yeah, it's your boy again, reporting to you live from the back of the classroom. Again, this is all for entertainment purposes only. It's a figment of my imagination. This didn't even happen. None of what you saw is even real. That's what they gonna tell you. So, it didn't happen. It's all in his mind. Ain't that right, Jenny? That, you can tell people exactly what's going on. They know what's going on, but they have to talk about why things aren't working when they know why they ain't working. I mean, you created a specific shift for a specific reason, but I file a complaint, and then as soon as I do, you move that 10 to 6 to a 12 to 8.
You mad?
Why there's a gap there.
I didn't fuck up, you did.
We all collectively bring it up. You don't want to say anything. And then it's funny because they don't seem to think with the overtime thing. If someone is replacing the person working at the 12 to 8 shift and they get off at 3, then that means that the person that should have been there from 12 to 8 is not there. So them clocking out from 3 to 6 makes no sense, because the 12 to 8 person would be there from 3 to 8 anyways. But, you know, in their infinite wisdom, because, you know, doctorate degrees top everything else, even logic and common sense, allegedly, all for entertainment purposes only, of course. Patty Murphy, pouring to you live in the back of the classroom. So yeah, you know how it is. And the crazy thing is that the people that are supposed to come in here and enforce the contract, Campo Santos, you know, 1199 SEIU, the organizer that never does her job, but is for some reason on the ballot to run for VP this April. Make it make sense, because it don't make sense to me. But if it does to you, let me know. And you can do that by liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing. And if any of this makes sense, please do that. So keep your eyes to the stars, keep your head on the swivel, and remember, realize, transparency forces accountability. Have a safe out there.